Greetings, Internet. I mentioned in my first video that I opted for a different name for this channel than my Facebook page because of the negative and misguided connotations that unfortunately follow the word anarchy. But I am still an anarchist, and I am not ashamed of that word. And I want more people to understand why someone would identify as an anarchist. So, specifically, I identify as a social anarchist, which is kind of a redundant term, but also a necessary one, due to the ways in which anarchy as a concept has splintered in too many directions, many of them silly and contradictory, like anarcho-capitalism, which, no. Anarchy requires an anti-capitalist mindset because what anarchy is at its core is the dissolution of hierarchy, and capitalism cannot survive without hierarchy. So the two concepts are deeply mutually exclusive. But now back to anarchy. People have this idea that anarchy is some sort of chaotic hellscape where thugs run around shooting people with no consequences. But that's actually what's happening right now under capitalism. So this nightmare they've fed you about anarchy is really a projection of the ways that this system has already failed, not a genuine analysis of anarchy. What anarchy really is a philosophy of autonomy, mutual aid, and community responsibility. The idea that no one can own me, but I have a responsibility to the community that I am in and whose services I benefit from. It's a departure from the toxic individualism that permeates our current society. The idea of, I got mine, you're on your own. That's what anarchy wants to divorce itself from. It's heavily rooted in communal individualism, the balance between your personal needs and your societal responsibility. Anarchy wants to structure a society around meeting the needs of the people, instead of a society run on profit motive. Anarchy is also heavily rooted in democratic practices, not representative democracy, where we get to pick between a limited number of pre-selected rich people to make decisions on our behalf, but genuine democracy, where the people have a direct say in their lives and in their workplaces. But as I mentioned at the beginning, the most central facet of anarchy is destroying all hierarchy, to establish a truly equitable society where preference isn't given to any particular human over another. This isn't necessarily a world without leaders, although I don't personally like that word, but it is a world without rulers. We will always have knowledgeable folks who weigh in on issues where their experience and expertise is relevant, but these people don't have a final say or special treatment or an elevated place in society. They are contributing what they're able to contribute, and they benefit the same way everyone does, from a society that meets their needs. And leisure is a need. This is not a world where everyone gets a shack and enough water and potatoes to survive. This is a world where the goal is for everyone to thrive, where arbitrary paywalls to essentials like food, shelter, healthcare, and education are removed, where you're incentivized to pursue your passion, whether it's art or music or biochemistry, and you're supported throughout the process, because we need art as much as we need medicine. They're not interchangeable, but they're both vital for different reasons. And the folks providing these services deserve to live in a society that values them. But there is also a limited number of truly necessary jobs. Not everyone has to work. Some people's vital role is simply being a parent, or a sibling, or a neighbor, or a friend. Everyone deserves to survive. Everyone deserves to thrive, even if they can't produce a commodifiable product or service. Anarchy means a society whose purpose is the well-being of all, with no profit motive, no incentive for competition, a communal economy based on self-managed workplaces, where everyone has autonomy and value. But they tell me I'm a radical, because I believe in a world where people matter and profit doesn't. But I don't think I'm a radical. I think this is the most basic instinct. Our society is wrong. It isn't intuitive or a reasonable way to live, and the only reason it persists is because we keep agreeing to it. We saw not long ago in Seattle, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, we saw that anarchy works. It got raided by the cops, but imagine what would happen if these sprung up everywhere. Imagine what would happen if they took over entire towns. All cops are bastards, but they're also people, and many of them are struggling under capitalism in ways they don't acknowledge. What would happen if all the silent, complicit cops suddenly realized they could get a better deal if they threw down their guns? You think it's idealistic, but I think it's a matter of common sense.